Matt M. Roy back once again. Well, I have some really nice pickup finds for you. I went out this past Saturday. I'm actually filming this on Sunday. Let's see, it would have been May 31st. And I went to quite a few community sales. I mean, they had a lot of stuff going on this weekend. And I decided to go over to Suffolk this time. Usually I stick more into the Chesapeake area where I live, but I decided to go over there because they had quite a few community sales advertised, and boy did I do well. So let's go ahead and get started. At the first community sale I went to, I picked up this monitor. This is an eMachines. It is a 22-inch screen. You can see on the front here we have the different settings. This is for up and down or plus and minus, menu, mute because this actually has speakers built in, auto phase control, and then the power. If you look on the back here, this is the information about it. It's the eMachines model L22YCET, and usually that gives you an idea of what the size is. Usually they'll stick it in there. So in this case, L22 would refer to 22 inches. Manufactured September of 2007. So you gotta be careful with monitors from around this time, because in 2007 they were still suffering the capacitor plague. So luckily this didn't have that problem. But whenever you buy a monitor, you want to make sure that it powers on properly, and that, more important than that, it actually stays on for more than a minute or two. If it starts flickering or turning off, then you may have some issues with capacitors. It is a basic monitor, just has the basic ports, regular internal power supply with a desktop style power cord, and then we just have the audio in, and then VGA. No DVI or HDMI on this particular monitor. Again, probably because it's an eMachines, and they're pretty much bottom, or I like to say budget-oriented systems, but still not a bad find for. I paid $10 for that. Now, funny story with this monitor. I got this monitor probably around 10 o'clock in the morning, so it was getting kind of late, and there are a few other sales there that I picked up some other items. Then I went to go ahead and have some breakfast, maybe about 3 or 4 miles away. Well, I had talked to the lady there and told her that I'm always interested in anything computer related. So she said, well, ask my husband when I get back, because they used to own a couple retail shops. And sure enough, about an hour after I left, I was just finishing up breakfast, she calls me back and says, hey, look, I have the matching computer that came with that. Would you like it? And I said, yeah, why not? So I rushed back, and she pulled this out. This is an eMachines, not the high-end one, Intel Celeron processor, but is running Windows 7. 4 USB ports on the front. We have the 2 audio ports, headphone, microphone. And I'm guessing that's probably an 8-in-1 card reader. It reads all the major ones, SD, Memory Stick, Pro Duo, and then of course the compact flash. Oh, and we got one more, so we actually have a total of 5 USB ports on the front. In here is just a standard DVD burner, nothing special. Over here is where the hard drive actually sits, and that's the one thing that was missing from this system. The guy pulled the hard drive out. 1 for security, and 2 because it actually went bad. If I turn it around here, he must have had a wireless card or something up here, because it's missing the grill, but I don't care. It gives a little bit more cooling power. Underneath here we have the audio ports. This is line out, headphone out, and microphone in. Now this is kind of interesting. These were actually artifacts for devices that weren't installed on this computer. This one is even still marked the SPDIF. That would be for a digital optical output if it had it. And I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what this one is. It may have been some kind of, maybe even an eSATA port, but it's not marked. Underneath there we have Ethernet and 2 USB ports. And oh, here we go. Now see, that's marked eSATA, so I'm assuming that might be a combo port, but I'm not sure. To me it looks like a standard USB port. It may have been here where the eSATA port would have been originally. This, again, not used in this particular system. You have the VGA port right there. You have where, again, would have been an HDMI port, but it's not being utilized because this is basically a bare bones system. And then, of course, your keyboard mouse port, and then a tiny little 80-watt power supply. So what I've actually done with this is I put in a 160 gigabyte hard drive, and this will be the subject of its own video in the very near future. Next, I went to a garage sale. This was actually found in the same community sale as the computer and the monitor, and I picked up this. This is a Magellan Roadmate model 360 from around 2005. Now, this is an older GPS, but what I liked about it is the owner who had this updated the maps about 2 years ago. So even though this is the oldest GPS I own, this probably has the most recent maps of any GPS that I own. And it came with the unit itself, which looks like this, and this was very typical of an early GPS. Not only would it have a touchscreen, it is a touchscreen, it also has actual buttons to do the same functions. You have view, option, enter, cancel, and then locate, and then of course your different arrow keys. And then these would actually let you zoom in the menu. Unfortunately, I can't display this because, like a lot of the older GPSs, it does not have a built-in battery. So it's just not going to come on at all, unfortunately. It came with, whoop, hit my camera, huh? It came with the power cord here, which is standard cigarette lighter. Let's see if I can uncoil this real quick. There we go. So it came with the power cord. It also came with this little window mount, which is really nice to have. You can actually adjust it. This is fully adjustable, so you can go from here and adjust it all the way up like that. I don't want to do it because it will wear out eventually. But of course, when it's in your car, it's usually going to sit something like that. And it also came with another USB cable. Let me see what that is. Just a regular USB cable, so you can hook it into the computer and do maybe map updates. It does have an SD card, so you can probably transfer some video and audio files to that. And it also came with this. I'm not exactly sure why. It may not have even been for it originally, but it's another cigarette adapter with some kind of USB mini adapter on the end of it. See, this actually pulls off, and I'm not sure. I mean, this is like a female to a male adapter, so I'll have to look into that more and see exactly what that's supposed to be for. Oh, and one other thing, it actually came with the original disc. Probably contains the maps and the user instructions. And the reason I know it's from 2005 is that's exactly what the disc says, copyright 2005. And I gave $7 for all that. And I might actually do a video about this later on when I'm in my car. Like I said, that's the only place I can actually use this, unfortunately. Next thing, again, came from this same community yard sale. This one lady had a bunch of old movies, and they were mostly James Bond. This first one is Sean Connery and Diamonds Are Forever, and they are in really, really good shape. Next we have Live and Let Die. This one's with Roger Moore. This is actually one of my personal favorites. All the cases and everything are in excellent shape. I love that when the boat goes over the cars. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. This one's from 1973. Have Octopussy, with, again, another one with Roger Moore. My personal favorite James Bond. I know I might get some hate in the comments for that. I do like Sean Connery, but I personally think Roger Moore did a much better job, especially considering that Roger Moore is actually British and James Bond is Scottish. The original James Bond, Sean Connery, was Scottish. I have a more modern one here, Die Another Day. That one's with Pierce Brosnan and Halle Berry. Very, very good movie. Saw this one, I think this came out, 2002. And we have Moonraker, another one with Roger Moore. I've actually not seen this one in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of it in the past, so I'm looking forward to watching this. And the artwork on this is just amazing. Again, in very good shape. Then we have this one's with Timothy Dalton. This is The Living Daylights, which is one I've seen this one, but it's been a long time. I do remember that I really liked it, though. They rate it as the best Bond ever. I bet that's highly debatable now. Even though Timothy Dalton did a decent job, he was only in about 2, maybe 3 Bond movies. You can see the artwork on the back. This one is actually, it's funny because these are old releases. This came out in 1988, and they wanted to tell people it is monaural or mono capable because back then not everybody had a stereo VCR. And if you had a tape that was in stereo back then, sometimes what they would do is they would split the track up between the left and the right side. So if you had a monaural video tape deck or a video cassette player, you might be missing some of the audio. So that's why they used to put those on the tapes. Then we have 007 James Bond, From Russia with Love. This is a Sean Connery one. I think this is one of the real early ones, if not the very first. Yeah, 1963. I believe this was the very first James Bond. And I have not actually seen this one. I may have seen bits and pieces, but I know I've never seen the whole thing of it. So, again, can't wait to see that. The last of the James Bond movies I got, this is On Her Majesty Secret Service. Never saw this one either. This one is a, let's see. Yeah, this is a Roger Moore's George Lazenby. I guess this is neither of them. I've never actually seen one. Like, I'll have to look into this. I've never seen this one before. See, copyright 1969. It's very interesting. I always thought at this time it was going to be either Sean Connery or Roger Moore. Again, I'm not a huge Bond fan, but I do like the movies. I've seen quite a few of them. So there we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 James Bond movies. And then the last movie I have to show you guys is just Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's something I saw a long time ago. I know my mother likes, and I just thought, why not pick it up? I'll tell you what I paid for these. These were $5 for $1. So basically, for $2, I got all these movies. Oh, and I lied. I have one more James Bond movie to show you that was in there. It's The World Is Not Enough, which, not one of my personal favorites, but again, still a really decent movie. Some of the artwork there. Let's make sure that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 videos, that was $2. Now, one other thing that I got, unfortunately, is still in the car because my back has been giving me a lot of problems recently. But I did pick up another one of these HP LaserJet. Actually, the one I picked up is a 2300 series, so it's the same as the one down there with the screen. I will do a separate video on that once I hook that up, but it's probably going to be a few days because I got to rest my back for a while. And the very last thing that I found, and it was the first thing that I actually found for the day, was this. This is a Samsung LCD TV. And let me see, I'll be honest with you, because the way my back's been feeling, I haven't really done much work with it. I could show you guys what the label says. I'm not even sure of the exact size. But if you look down there, it's a model, focus. Okay, I guess it's a 40-inch. It's model LNT471F. This dates, I'm assuming, from around 2008 or maybe 2009. I picked this TV up for $5 because it does have a problem, and I wanted to see if any of you guys can help me with it. I've always wanted to start working on these TVs, so I figured this might be a good project for me. I'll show you guys the ports on the back real quick. Has your standard array of component and composite ports. It looks like 2 each. It has 2 HDMI ports. There's one right there and one underneath. I have the box plugged into one of them. Various audio out ports, cable and antenna in, and it even has an S-video port, which you don't find on many modern LCD TVs today. And then if we go to the other side, it has some ports on the side here too. Let me try to move this back. It is a heavy beast. And let's see, where are they? Ah, there they are. You can see another HDMI port there, S-video, and a few more composite ports. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this TV on. I didn't have the original remote that came with it, but I have another Samsung TV that's a couple years older in the other room, so I borrowed the remote from that, and that works fine. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. And I'll show you guys what the problem is. You can see right away that the one side over here, once it warms up, the two sides are very bright, but as it gets towards the middle, it's actually more dim. And when you're actually watching a video on here, which I'm not going to show you guys because of copyright issues, it'll actually show up about the first quarter of the right side of the TV will look normal. And then as you're getting towards the middle, it'll get a little bit darker, and then towards the left, it's almost impossible to see. So I don't know if that's like a convergence problem or maybe an issue with the power board. I'm probably going to take it apart later on today and just have a quick look. But if any of you guys can help me out with that, it would be greatly appreciated. So that's my pickups for Saturday, May 31st, 2014. Weekend after Memorial Day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, and remember, have a blessed day, everybody.